vyasa vishala buddhe Pulara vindayata patra nedra Yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha Prajvalito jnanamaya pradipaha Prapanna parijataya Totra vedraikaparnaye Jnana mudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita duhe namaha Sarvopanishado gavaha Dogdha gopalanandanaha Parto vatsasudhirbhota Dugdam gitamritam maham Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsa chanuramardanam Devaki paramanandam Krishnam vande jagadgurum Bhishma drona tata jayadratajala Gandhara nilotpala Shalyagrahavati kripena vahani Karnena velakula Ashwatthama vikarna ghora makara Duryodhana vartini Sotirna kalu pandavairananadi Kaivartakaskeshavaha Parasharya vachasarojamamalam Gitarthagandhotkatam Nanabhyanakakesaram harikatha Sambodhana bodhitam Loke sajjana shatpadairaharaha Epiyamanam muda Bhuyad bharata pankajam Kalimala prabhamsina shreyase Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam Yam brahma varunendra rudra marutaha Sunvanti divyaistavai Vedai sangapadakramopanisadai Gayanti yam samagaha Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa Pashyanti yam yoginaha Yasyantanna vidussudasudaganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Where did we stop? Chapter 2? Chapter 2? Oh, chapter 1.
Verse 28 to 26.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah. 28, 29. Yeah. Arjuna uvacha Drishtvevam svajanam Krishna Yuyutsum samupasthitam Sidanti mama gatrani Mukhancha parishusyati Vepatushcha sharire me Roma harshascha jayate Gandivam sramsate hastat Tvakchaiva paridahyate Na cha shaknomyavasthatum Brahmativa me manaha Oh, that's why Brahmati vacha me manaha Nimittani cha pashyami Viparitani keshava Na cha shreyo nupashyami Hatva svajanamahave Yeah, so 28 to 31 is his physical condition. And what was it brought on by? Heat stroke. No?
Seeing all of the karma he's about to do.
Yeah, no, not just karma. What brought it on? Swajanam. His own people. What he considered his own people. Which side they were on? These boys, both sides. Yeah. They were on both sides. And they were everywhere. Who were these people? His own fellows. So, this he thought that all the other wars that he has waged, he didn't have a problem killing people. He could be a veritable killing machine. And he had no problem at all. He could discharge arrows with his left hand, with his right hand, and when he fed the bow, everybody puts one arrow, and that also you have to put so carefully. He was putting 5 at a time and then just discharging it, and his aim was so good it would go in 5 different directions and hit the targets. That's our Arjuna. And here he's having the shivers, big time shivers. And what is he saying? I don't think I can do this. Drishtva evam, in this manner seeing, what? Swajanam, our own people, my own people. Hey Krishna. And then what is happening as a result? Yuyutsum samupasthitam, all ready for battle. Yuyutsum, desirous of fighting, samupasthitam, assembled and standing ready for battle. And then what happened? He starts to feel feverish. Yeah. Sidanti, I explained. What did I say? Seized. Seizanti. Mamagatrani. The body is not able to do anything. The limbs are shithilayante, meaning they are numb. I tell my legs, walk. And the leg says, who? Who are you talking to? We are not here. Maybe you're talking to someone. I tell the hand, Come on, pick up Gandiva. Just like the conch shells has their names, the bow also has names. Rama's bow's name is Rama's bow.
Once they get dark,
Kodanda. Yeah, and Arjuna's bow? Gandiva. Yes, it's right there. So, when in doubt, read it out. So here, all these things are happening. And here is this celebrated warrior whose mouth is all drying, he is dehydrating, or he's been on some antihistamines and he's having a side effect. But that's not the case. He is dehydrated. He is totally dehydrated. What else is he? He is totally panicked. He is seized by panic. He is immobilized by panic. He says that. And still he is witnessing all these symptoms. And then a chill has developed in the spine, which is traveling up the spine. Vepathuhu means this kampanam, and the whole body is, as it were, shaking like an aspen leaf. And then, and then what? He is having horripilations, his hairs are standing on end. We have already seen this. This is a recap. And then what? Gandivam sramsate. Srams to slip. Sramsate hastat. The Gandiva is slipping from hasta. Hasta means elephant. No, also elephant, but elephant is called hand because it uses the trunk as a hand. That's why it's called hasti. The one who uses the trunk as though it were a hand. That's why the elephant got the name. But here we are not talking of elephant. Who are we talking of? Arjuna. Arjuna is in very bad shape. And the Gandiva, this heavy bow, is slipping from the hand. Why might that be? Hand is sweating. Panic attack. Hand is sweating, so he has this slipping sensation. Everything is wet and clammy, and everything is slipping from the very hand. And then Gandivam sramsate hastat, and then suddenly he has 102 fever. Tvak means skin. Paridahyate means not just one portion of the skin, all over the skin is feverish, it's heated up. And in those days they had to carry a thermometer if they were going to fight. That's how he knew that he had 102 fever. So, and then what? Nacha shaknomi avastha. As though this was not enough. I mean, this is plenty, don't you think? For one person to be the bravest warrior in his times to be having all these symptoms, this is plenty. But as though this was not enough, one more symptom has developed. Nimittani cha pashyami. He has started to see bad omens every day, everywhere. He looks to the left and sees a pack of crow pecking out one from the flock. And then he looks at the right and an owl, generally not a good symbol unless you see a white owl. If you see an owl, a white owl, that means goddess Lakshmi. You're going to get lots of money. And even in the dream, it's okay. And then if you see any other owl, that means change of place. Yeah. Some move is imminent. If you see an owl, yeah. You have to change something within yourself, or in your circumstances something will change, or you yourself will have to move. These are the three omens. It's not a good omen when you see the owl at the war. So he looks to the left, a baby crow is being pecked out of the nest, given the boot. He looks to the right, he sees an owl. He looks in front of him, black cat crossing the path. I'm just, joking, but still, he sees all kinds of not very nice omens. You see, these omens are also very interesting because, really speaking, for the one who sees om everywhere, there are no ends, no omens, because all there is om. Everything is an auspicious symbol, so where is the, bad symbol? But for the one who is already frightened, these omens work. Not otherwise. Yeah. Already the fellow is feeling, unsure, vulnerable and insecure. and wondering, will I get this job? Should I go for this interview? How to do this? Am I wearing the right clothes? This is the fellow stepping out of the house. And the neighborhood cat, which happens to be black, because that poor thing, it's not its fault. And he's already friends with it. Every day it rubs itself on his legs. But today it becomes a bad omen, right? All these days he didn't even pay attention. Maybe it brought him good luck. He never thought about it. But today, since he was feeling unsure, all these things, suddenly he saw a ladder that he was walking under, suddenly he saw a black cat that was approaching, bounding over to greet him, and then suddenly he saw something else, all the omens. So when the mind is weak, the omens take hold, and you say this is not auspicious. And if the mind is strong, and even if something inauspicious happens, supposedly inauspicious happens, you can immediately take the lesson from it. What does this mean? Yeah. What does this mean? How do I need to change my beliefs or my actions or both, keeping in line with where I'm headed? So this is more of a kind of a warning of being out of alignment. That's what it is. If there are such things as omen, that's what they are. They are just a warning, at being in, that something is off. And so you have to make what is off on. We have to be in with the program. That's the message. So nimittani. Nimitta here means the cause for withdrawing. Nimitta means cause. The reasons to not go on, I'm seeing everywhere. Something wails, something hails, something, flails, and then he sees all this and he says, this is not coming to a good end. And what kind of nimittas? Viparitani nimittani pashyami. Ill omens. Viparita means opposite to what we want, opposite to auspicious. What are they? Inauspicious omens. I'm keeping on seeing everywhere. We cannot go on. This is not okay. And that is further, further frightening him. And he says, hey Keshava, oh Krishna. And then, na shreyaha anupashyami hatva svajanam ahave. Ahave in the battle. Shreyaha, I don't see any good. I don't see any exalted action. I don't see any good effect in hatva, in killing. What is svajanam? My own people. Yeah, our own people in battle. There is no shreyas here. And it's interesting, he uses the word shreyas. The word shreyas means good. In fact, the word shreyas means the best. What is the best? Moksha. Shreyas is a word for moksha. Where did we hear it? Which Upanishad? Katha. Where else did we hear it? Right here. Shreyaha anupashyami. Don't look for omens. And right here. And also in the second chapter, when he says, I don't see what is Shreyaha. He says, you tell me. Because I want Shreyas. And I cannot connect that Shreyas that I want to this war. So you please teach me because I am at my wit's end. And then what? Again in the third chapter, he says, you said Shreyas is in knowledge. Shreyas is in moksha. Moksha is through knowledge. And what are you asking me to do? Fight this dirty war. Yes. 5th chapter again, and he says that, sannyasam karma yogam cha nishreyasakara ubhau. Tayostu nitya sannyasas karma yogo vishishyate. Krishna distinguishes the two and talks about karma yoga as an important means for this shreyas. And this is something which is, so the word shreyas has a very important presence in both Bhagavad Gita and the Kathopanishad. And so Shreyas generally means good. Here it means, good. In the second chapter beginning it means moksha. but he's getting close. That's why Vyasa uses the same word. So because in the beginning he doesn't know what is good for him. He knows what is not good for him. He says there is no Shreyas in this war. He knows what not to want, which is as important. Because it's by not wanting the not to be wanted things, one gets closer to what one really is seeking. Correct? Yeah. So then further he gives a little soliloquy. Let us listen. So verses 32 to, let us see, 35, 36, 37. 32 to 37 are is one particular reason he gives. He elaborates on the reason why to not kill these people. Okay? And how by killing the people, he doesn't want the kingdom that he is able to get, because without killing them, he'd rather let them be alive and not have the kingdom. And this is how it starts. Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna,
Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna,
Nacharajyam Sukhani cha,
Nacharajyam Sukhani cha,
Kinno Rajyena Govinda,
Kinno Rajyena Govinda,
Kim Bhogair Jivitena va,
Kim Bhogair Jivitena va,
Yeshamarthe Kankshitannah,
Yeshamarthe Kamshitam Naha,
Rajyam Bhoga Sukhani cha,
Rajyam Bhoga Sukhani cha,
Ta imeva sthita yuddhe,
Taimeva sthita yuddhe,
Pranan styaktva dhanani cha,
Pranan styaktva dhanani cha,
Acharyah pitarah putrah,
Acharya pitarah putraha,
Tathaiva cha pitamahah,
Tathaiva cha pitamaha,
Matulashvashurah pautrah,
Matula Shvashura Pautraha,
say Shvashura one more time.
Svashura.
Matulashvashurah pautrah,
Matula Shvashura Pautraha,
Shyala sambandhinastatha,
Shyala Sambandhinasthatha,
Etan nahantumichhami,
Etan nahantumichhami,
Natopi madhusudana,
Natopi Madhusudana,
Api trailokya rajyasya,
Api Trailokya Rajyasya,
Hetoh kinnu mahikrite,
Hetoh kinnu mahikrite,
Nihatya dharta rashtrannah,
Nihatya dharta rashtrannah,
Ka priti syad janardana,
Ka pritisya janardana,
Papamevashrayedasman,
Papamevashrayedasmat,
Hatvaitanatayinah,
Advaitanatayinah,
Tasmannarha vayam hantum,
Tasmannarha vayam hantum,
Dhartarashtran swabandhavan,
Dhartarashtram swabandhavam,
Swajanam hi katham hatva,
Swajanam hi katam hatva,
Sukhinas syama madhava,
Sukhinas Yasyama Madhava.
Yeah, this whole thing is one argument. That's why we are chanting it together. And the first chapter is just setting the context. And there is not much to talk about other than to understand what it is saying. And the context becomes important because you see the mindset of the person before the person goes to the knowledge. And even though we may not be able to identify very easily with someone like Nachiketa, because he seems to be somewhere flying high in his viveka, in his vairagya, in his mumukshutvam, in his six-pack, not eating for 3 days and all these things. Yeah, so, he's, you just feel like he's going over the head in terms of adhikaritvam. But Arjuna we all love. Yeah. Oh, he's just like me. As soon as I set out to do something, it feels like a bad idea. As soon as I want to, I have sankalpa, I go to the war, vikalpa, don't want. We saw that this morning. What is manaha? Sankalpatmakam, vikalpa atmakam. Yes, no, oh maybe, we'll settle for a maybe. Yes, no. Well, perhaps. No, I think I have to go for this. This is good. Shreyas, moksha. Let's settle for a mocha. This is the mindset. And so Arjuna never fails to deliver, because until the last chapter, his job is to keep the person who's studying the Gita very happy, because he is just like, he is embodies the regular aspirations of the Janata Mumukshu. Janata Mumukshu is the mass Mumukshu. Not someone who has stood out in any way, stood out, and stood on one leg in the Himalayas, done a lot of tapas, didn't eat for 7 days and then come back, and then the first word after they were born was Guru, where are you? The birth itself was a mistake, some small residue of prarabdha, and then so since they didn't need to be born at all, they were just accidentally born for a few years, they were born at 3 months premature, because why stay in 9 months when they so these are the kinds of mumukshus who populate the Upanishads. And then sometimes people have told me this, I have learned so much from all the people, and and I continue to learn. And one thing that one person said is, Kathopanishad is terminally annoying. I said why? He said that each time I read about this boy, and how old is he supposed to be? Between 8 and 10, and then between 8 and 10 he has all these things. I mean, he knows what to ask for, and then he is tempted with Xbox and Nintendo and video games. Yama gives him all these, we will see. And then and he says no, you keep it yourself, and he returns all the gifts, and he doesn't want anything except moksha. He says, this is a very annoying boy. And whenever I read about him, my already low mumukshutvam, makes me feel lower still. Yeah. When I came to this Upanishad, I was crawling on all fours out of helplessness. Now I'm flat on the floor. I'm not even able to crawl. At least I was getting by creeping around. But here Arjuna never fails to disappoint. Because here, even in verses 32 to 37, you can identify with him. You start feeling, yes, he's correct. Yes, he's right. Whose horrible idea this war was. Poor fellow, let him go home. Yeah, let Draupadi make him a cup of chai and let him go home. Let him just sit down and enjoy himself. So what? Why does he need kingdom? Because this is what he says. So he says, the same fellow who was chafing the 13 years and wanting to anoint Draupadi's hair with Duryodhana and Dushasana's blood cocktail. This is what he wanted to do. And the same fellow is saying, what is he saying now after looking at the battlefield? Na kankshe. Kankshe means I have no expectation, no want. Kanksha, kanksh, to want. Na kankshe. Atmanepada, I do not want. What do I not want? Vijayam. Because why are we fighting this war? Tell me. For what? For? No. Why will you fight this war? If you are hoping to lose, will you fight the war?
No.
To win. For victory. Na kankshe vijayam Krishna. I do not want victory, oh Krishna, because that is the immediate thing. Why the war is being fought? To be victorious. What for the victory? What will you get if you get victory? Rajyam. What is Rajyam? Kingdom. Yeah, Rajyam is kingdom. So his logic is very, very enticing. First he says, I don't want victory. He has vairagya towards victory. Sudden funerary ground vairagya after getting a panic attack. So he says, I don't want victory. See how cleverly he has put together his argument. Why don't you want victory, dear sir? I don't want victory because victory is for the sake of what? Kingdom. Kingdom also is not for the sake of putting the kingdom in a jar with some snowflakes and shaking it up and looking at it. Not snowflakes. What is that called? Some chachki, snow globe, chachki ornament. So kingdom is not to put the palace of Hastinapura there and then put some flaky things and in some liquid and shake it up and look at it settle down. Kingdom is not to put in a pickle jar and preserve it. What is the kingdom for the sake of? Sukha, happiness. Because the kingdom is for bhoga, right? To enjoy. Na rajyam kankshye. Why? Because the victory is for the sake of rajyam. So now what do I not want? I don't want rajyam. And rajyam is for the sake of what? Sukha. I don't want sukha. But before that he says, rajyam sukhanicha. Kin naha rajyena. Naha means for us. What is the use for the kingdom? What is the use of kingdom? Kim bhogaihi. What is the use of enjoyments? Because already I lived on roots, fruits and berries for 12 years in the forest. What is the use of enjoyment? I can go back and live there again. Kim bhogaihi. And then one more extreme. Jivitena va. What is the use of living? His panic attack, suicidal, poor thing. See, everybody is starting to feel sorry. I warned you about this yesterday. Yeah. But it happens every time. So, this is the fellow. In the depth of his sadness, still he has not lost the logic. The war is for the immediate victory. The immediate victory is to wrest the kingdom from their hands. And what for is the kingdom? Not to put it in a pickle jar and look at it, to enjoy it. But I don't want enjoyment. I don't want sukha. I don't even want to live. Then why are you being so depressed? Because if it is their life or my life, and if I kill all of them, he's going to say this, we'll see it in, as we'll be coming to this verse. If I have to enjoy after killing them, who are my people, what kind of an enjoyment will it be? That is what his idea is. So this is what is called jihasa vairagya. Yeah. Jihasa is a desiderative noun, which means it comes from ha, to abandon. Desiderative means desire to. Desire to ha. What is desire to ha? Jiha. Jihasa. Desire to abandon. So the desire to give up is called jihasa. So jihasa vairagya means desire, sudden, overpowered by the sudden and irrational, at least from the society's point of view, desire to give up every single thing. And what is that sudden desire to give up every single thing? What is that propelled by? Is it for the sake of the desire for knowledge? No.
It's some raga dvesha.
Yeah. It is either to fulfill a raga or to fulfill a dvesha, and or it is because the situation in which one finds oneself seems so non-negotiable and seems so frightening that one wants to run away. And run away one can't. How do you run away from the battlefield? It's not an option. You cannot say, I have deployed, I don't want any more deployments. You cannot say that. This was not an option in ancient India. Once you have signed up, you have to go through with it. And not just war, anything. That's why Nachiketa's father, he just got impatient and he said, "Go to hell." And Nachiketa said, "Okay, here I go." And the father said, "Sorry, I didn't mean that. Not for you. You're my cute boy. Don't go." And Nachiketa says, "Look around you. Has anybody said they would do something and not do that?" And father has to say, "No, I don't find anyone like that. Look in your ancestry. Has anybody said something and not followed through?" And the father again says, "No. Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya yatha pare sasyamiva martyah pachyate sasyamiva ajayate punah." What distinguishes a clump of grass or a clump of spinach growing in the wayside from a human being? The grass grows and dies. The human being also dies and grows and dies and grows. What is the difference between the two? The difference between the two is that the human being keeps the word. You don't expect a bunch of spinach to keep its word. Yeah, the human being is possible for the human being to have dharma, and this dharma alone is what is important. So then, so that is why he cannot leave the battlefield, because there are military rules of engagement in ancient India, plus there are also rules with rules means dharma. Vak tapas means whatever you say you are going to do, you follow through, That is basically what it is. So leaving the war is not an option. But he is so honest with himself and with Krishna that he says, "I don't feel like fighting." Because listen to my story, listen to my argument. What are we fighting for? Victory. Guess what? I don't want it. Since when? Since the last 2 minutes. And I don't want bhoga. I don't want sukha. For that matter, why should I live if I have to kill? Not kill anyone, my own people. And then the next one, yesham arthe, for whose sake, kankshitam naha, for whose sake all these things, rajyam, bhoga, sukhani, the kingdom, the objects of enjoyment and happiness, kankshitam, for whose sake they were desired by us, ta ime, te ime, avasthitha yuddhe, all those people for whose sake we desired the victory, we desired the kingdom, we desired the happiness. They, te sarve, ime, avasthite, where yuddhe avasthite, samupasthite, they are all standing here. They are all here larger than life, And how are they avasthite? As it were, he echoes what Duryodhana said. Duryodhana said, "Madarthe tyakta jivitaha." Here also he says, "Pranans tyaktva," avasthitaha sarve, te sarve. For whose sake? Meaning, these people are dear to me. And these people's presence is what I want in my life in order to enjoy the gains. So if I wrest the gains from them, and in so doing they die, then I am left with a bunch of money and a bunch of stories, horrible, gory, bloodshed, stories of bloodshed and memories, nightmares, and I am left with a bunch of, kingdom and riches. For whose sake? Because for whose sake those kingdoms and riches become enjoyable. And he means it in two ways. One is they are genuinely my people. I can't imagine life without them. Because I grew up with them and I looked upon them as my own brothers and grandfather, uncles, shwashuraha, in-laws, all these people. And then even, and then if they are not there, then I'll be lonely without them. What use are the riches? Who am I going to? Because the riches and enjoyment is doubled when you have it along with someone else. Yeah, you're sitting there lonely enjoying. It will be like that story of that hero of that story in that Christmas story. What is that? One stingy fellow, Scrooge. Yeah, Scrooge. Scrooge was a very sad man. He was not a happy man. Why? He had everything. He had servants, he had palace, he had money, He didn't have anyone to call honey. That's the thing. That was the thing. Didn't have anyone to call his own. And that little, lame boy goes, this is what is called, what is that?
Tiny Tim.
That boy's name is Tim, but what is that story called? The story has a name.
The Christmas story.
What was it? Carol.
Oh.
Christmas Carol. That's right. So in this carol, this is what it is. This Tim goes, Tim without legs, and and then first he's very angry at Tim, and then he finds a newfound joy of sharing, of caring, of opening his heart. First you have to open the heart, even to open the purse strings. You have to first open the heart. And so you see, Arjuna is not like Scrooge. Even Scrooge had to be taught that way. And even, all these stories are there, Beauty, Beast, Scrooge, all these things, so that nobody is irredeemable. Everybody has that locked up heart. And then you just have to find the right combination and open their hearts, the right things that will open their hearts. And their hearts too, is in their hearts, is also compassion, is also the willingness to give, is also the willingness to love. But it has just been badly compromised by their own hurts. That is the whole idea. And here, Arjuna is not like Scrooge or any of these giants these people who keep driving away children. He's not like that. He already knows the joys of sharing, caring, and living in a group. He knows that. He is very extroverted. He is very social, and and he even had managed to have a good relationship with Duryodhana. They used to go out for coffee together and do things. And he didn't like Duryodhana very much, but he was tolerant of him. And Duryodhana was when Duryodhana turned on the charm, there was nobody as charming as Duryodhana. He was handsome and charming. Don't know how he managed that, but he did. And so Arjuna says that these people, good or bad, they are my people. And they are not going to change. And if they are not going to change, then who has to change? I have to change. And what I wanted before, I no longer want right now. I don't want victory if I can't enjoy it with them. I don't want Rajya, the kingdom. If they are not there to run around the corridors of the palace, what's the use of the kingdom, And then I don't want Sukha. I don't want all these servants feeding me peeled grapes. If I can't enjoy it with them. And then I don't want any bhoga, all these objects of enjoyment which are there in the palace, musicians, singers, dancers, museum rooms and stained glass rooms. So many things are there in a palace. Archery practice room, home theatre, all these things. I can't enjoy it all by myself. That is one meaning. Another meaning is that sometimes you can enjoy things, when the other person is wanting it. So suppose he was able to get it, out of their hands and not kill them, he wouldn't object to having it, because then he could say, aha, you said you were going to throw me out. Look who is on the throne now. And for that also you need an oppositional, presence. Yeah. That's why Vedanta doesn't become very popular, because you're supposed to sit and enjoy yourself. How to do that? Because you're all that's why it scares people away. You're supposed to sit and revel in the self. Oh, kya hota hai? What is that? What is this reveling in the self? Reviling the self, I know very well. Reviling means putting down. But this reveling in the self, what is it? And how quickly can I text someone else about what that experience is all about? This is the whole thing. That's why people are confused, because on the one hand, everyone is oriented towards group think, group live, group want, group. Everybody grows up in groups. And even to show someone else, look, I'm better than you, you need that someone else, correct? Yeah. So Duryodhana, gave that place in Arjuna's life, because all this time he kept Arjuna going. Arjuna was sharpening the arrows. The thought of Duryodhana kept him on his toes. Yeah. And made him think of all his woes. And then said, and he was determined, the bloodthirst to destroy Duryodhana kept his fire of ambition going in his heart for 13 long years. And then suddenly the prospect of this baddie not being there in his life, a big vacuum. This is what is called codependent relationships. That is why one needs Vedanta to fix this and to look at it objectively. You know, it's like you're depending upon his thrashings, you know, so that you can be kind to yourself and put some balm on it afterwards. What is this stupid logic? First you want to be thrashed so that you learn to love yourself and bandage yourself up like a mummy. And you know, what is this logic? This is codependent living. And so these people have been thrashing them for 13 years. And you know, Arjuna is now in a group called Codependent Anonymous. And what is he saying? He's saying, I can't live without. This is like a domestic violence situation. It literally, they are part of the domestic household. This is the extended family, and this one is biffing him, and you know, and this is what it is. You know, I knew this family. And they had 2 children, one and really close apart. And one was, I think, 1 year old, and the other one was one and a half, and the other one was just a few 7-8 months old, very close apart. And then, you know, they invited me to lunch. So I went there, and you know, they were one was one was about barely 2, and the other one was barely 1. And the barely one was trying to run away from the other one who was thrashing the elder one. And the parents were very laid back, you know. So I went there and they made me sit down. They said other guests are also coming, but you know, you are a little early, because they had picked me up at the time it was convenient to them, so please wait. And then they gave me some juice or something like that, and both of them went away inside. No, the father was sitting there and talking to me. And then I just looked, something was happening at the corner of the eye. And then the older one has picked up a long pair of garden shears, bigger than himself, and he's running after the younger one. So, and I just quickly, I was speechless, because it was a horrifying sight. And I quickly, you know, tapped the father's hand and I said, look. And the father just put down his juice, looked, and he said in Hindi, I can't even translate before I say it. He said, Beta, bhai mar jayega, aisa nahi karte. Child, you should do this, son, because your brother will die. And the child kept it aside. And then as though that was not enough. The same day, you know, maybe an hour later, this is after the food and everything, and other people come and we're just enjoying, singing bhajans, we are doing something. And then, you know, then there's no sign of these boys. There's an eerie quiet, and the mother got suspicious. And then, you know, and then the elder fellow has gone and hidden somewhere, which is a bad sign, she said. And then after calling, he came out, and then he has put the younger one in the oven.
Oh my God.
Because he saw mother taking things out of the oven. Thankfully, it was not hot, it was just warm, and the child came out like an apple, all red. Yeah. And then, you know, and then this child was so attached to the brother is biffing him at every opportunity, and this one is going, bhaiya, bhaiya, bhaiya. This is what everyone grows up like, because this is all they know, you know. They just know to be beaten, biffed, and this is how everyone grows up, you know. And this is what everyone gets used to. So Arjuna, who grew up, you know, after being put in the oven several times by Duryodhana, and at least here there was an innocence operating. There Duryodhana was at no stage innocent. And so this is what it is. So one gets used to a kind of a abusive life. This is what it is. Yeah, without Vedanta, this is what happens. All the relationships are flawed in the sense that I depend on things that are dangerous for me. This is a very good example of how this is happening. I think this is my well-being. This is exactly like domestic violence. You know, in domestic violence situation, the woman is beaten up but cannot leave because she's afraid. She's afraid she won't find anyone else because that is due to low self-esteem. She's afraid that, he will come after. That is again a real threat, some kind of a fear. And she's afraid what will happen and how this will go on. And she also hopes that this is the last time because he will change. You see, that is the thing. This is a very important part of that cycle, because here too Arjuna is having hope against hope that they will change, that it's not as bad as they think. And now his Duryodhana is also coming out in a good light. Look, they're not a bad lot. After all, they are relatives. Yes, we have a few, dead fishes in the relatives, spoiling the whole tank, rotting up the whole tank. But still, so what? These are my dead fishes, and so I should be okay with that. So there is a certain victimization, but in that victimization, you clearly delineate a sense of codependence. Which is why one needs Vedanta. And so here, then he says, Yesha, that's why. So first it was all right when he said, I don't want Rajya, Sukha, etc. All right. But then what? Govinda. Govinda means that who is found, the one who is found in words, the one who is in the form of pramana. Go means earth, sustainer of the earth. Go means words. Go also means cow. So, oh Bhagavan, oh Krishna, so what to do? Why to live? Why to have these pleasures? And then the pleasures are not pleasures in themselves, they are connected to people. They are connected to people on both sides, because there's going to be heavy losses on both sides. Even if he is okay with Duryodhana dying, he is not okay with Abhimanyu dying. Abhimanyu is his own son. He is not okay with other sons of Draupadi dying. He is not okay with people on his side dying. He is not okay with Drishtadyumna dying, his brother-in-law. He is not okay with any of these people dying. And so even if we were to make a distinction, even his own people, he is codependently connected to, because he cannot imagine enjoying the riches when these people are not there. So if we are making the life of the next generation happy, at what cost? This is the whole idea. And who are these people? These people for whose sake the kingdoms and objects of desire and enjoyment and pleasure become real and become justified. Who are these people? Acharyaha, teachers. These people are our teachers. Pitaraha, our paternal relatives. Putraha, our own sons. Tathaivacha pitamahaha, our own elders, like granddaddy, etc. Matulaha, maternal relatives, uncles, etc. Shvashuraha means in-laws. And then Shyalaha, cousins. And Sambandhinaha, other distant relatives and cousins, ones removed, and etc. etc. These are the people. These are the people who I wish to have in my life more than the riches, and without whom the riches have no meaning. So, given riches on one side and the uncles are, and the fathers and the, what else, grandfathers and the paternal and the maternal relatives, the in-laws, which would I choose? I would choose the people. And if I can have the people, then the riches is an extra plus. That's okay, I don't mind. But first I want the people. Now, if I cannot choose the people and I don't know who is going to die, maybe all of them will perish. Of what use is this kingdom and these riches? Because really speaking, I want to have a peaceful, non-conflicted life with the living, rather than with have a good life with all of them dead and enjoy these dead riches. I don't want that. And so he says that without these people, I am not going to be happy. Etan means these people. Na hantum ichhami. And now he's talking about the enemy on the other side, the enemy side. And what does he say? Etan, these people that I see in front of me, I don't want to kill them. Na hantum ichhami. Hantum, to kill. Na, that na is already there in etan. Etan, na hantum. That's why there's a double n. One n is the negative particle. So etan na hantum ichhami. I do not desire to kill these people. Gnatopi. Gnata means even if they are bent on killing me. Gnataha means those who are going to kill me. The person who is going to kill me, even if they are going to kill me, I don't want to kill them. And how is he addressing? Madhusudana, the killer of the demon called Madhu. Api, furthermore, Trailokya Rajyasya hetoho. So even furthermore, I'm not going to kill these people, even for the sake of being offered a position as the ruler of the three worlds. I won't kill them. Kinno hetoho mahikrite. Kinno mahikrite means what to talk of this small little kingdom. Mahikrite means for the sake of the small kingdom. You think I'm going to kill these people? Not a chance. I'm not going to kill these people even if you offer me Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, the three lokas on a platter to rule. Then also I'm not going to kill. What to talk of this small little Hastinapura kingdom? Forget it. Even if they are now, he's on dangerous ground. First, he was not wanting an offensive battle. He says, in order to wrest the victory which belongs to us, in order to wrest the riches from them, the Rajya from them, the Sukha and the Bhoga, I don't want to do this. So he doesn't want to wage an offensive battle. Fine. But he knows Krishna. Krishna will say, there's only two rules of engagement in the battle. Either you protect yourself and you charge, otherwise what? You are charged. Yeah. He knows Krishna's mind and where it's going. So he's talking about it beforehand. He's starting to give the reasons before Krishna is even opening the mouth. Yeah, this just shows that he's so confused, and at the same time, when you start reading someone else's mind, that means you're not sure of your own opinions. Because you start thinking for them, on their behalf. So here he's worried what Krishna will say. And then in order to preempt that, he's mounting a logical defense. So first he didn't want to wage an offensive war. Okay. And then what? He does not even want to wage a defensive war. That's why it's coming on the brink of danger. So he says, forget to protect one kingdom. Even if you offered me 3 lokas on a platter to rule, I will not touch the sword to kill these people. And furthermore, I will not kill these people even if they charge at me. This is what is dangerous here. So from an offensive war, he is not even ready to defend himself if they attack. In other words, we see some kind of a very strange apathy and lack of motivation setting in. And that is why we love Arjuna, because this one is very familiar with. What do you feel like doing? Nothing. Suddenly I don't feel so good. Suddenly something has come on. Suddenly there are dark clouds swirling overhead. Suddenly I don't feel like talking. Suddenly I don't feel like walking. Suddenly I don't feel like doing anything but eating. And then, suddenly I don't feel like doing anything. I'm apathetic. And this apathy is a very good time to attend Vedanta classes. Why? Because that's what Arjuna shows us. And Arjuna comes to Vedanta, not a Jignasu and a Mumukshu, but a Mumukshu by default, a Jignasu by default. Everything he has tried, nothing works. Therefore he says, I'll try this too. That's why we love Arjuna, because he resonates with how the story of everyone's tragedy, everyone's Mahabharata in their lives, and everyone has faced some kind of a conflict from which they have been unable to learn lessons, unable to rise above. They feel stuck in it, they feel, maimed by it, and as it were. And so this is a very good time, just like what Arjuna did, to go to take Sharanagati, to take refuge in the teachings. That is the only way. Because really speaking, all that he is talking about will be dismissed in the second chapter, which is something to look forward to. But then he's taking the mithya to be real, and so he says that api trailokya rajyasya hetoho na hantum ichhami etan, even for the sake of 3 kingdoms, 3 worlds, I don't want to kill them, even if they kill me. And he calls him Madhusudana, means, oh you killer, you slayer of Madhu. Janardana he called earlier. Janardana, Madhusudana, you are the one whose job is to bring to book those who are not following the path of dharma. For you it's okay. You have one asura for lunch, you have another for dinner. This is nothing for you. You dance on the third one in between, called Kaliya. And then even when you were a baby, you sucked the life force out of Putana, who had poisoned. Then see, this baby was taken away, as the story goes. It did not come into the hands of Kamsa, who was prophesied to kill him. So Krishna escaped and went to Vrindavan and from Mathura, and then he was raised there incognito among the cowherds. And then soon a story went around that, oh, Krishna, who we thought was dead, is alive somewhere. And nobody knew how he had been shifted and how are you going to, Yes, there he had made a name for himself by stealing butter, but here nobody knew. And how are you going to find out? And then Kamsa got a wonderful idea, got his sister, Putana, and she applied some poison on her breasts and went from village to village in all the areas and said, oh, I'm a poor, sad, childless creature. Can you please give me your little baby to hold and feed so that I will have this satisfaction of having a motherly feeling? And which mother would deny it? Okay, have. And then all the babies died. All the babies died. And then baby Krishna, also she tried to do the same thing. And then Yashoda, who was very busy, went off on her milk run, to give the milk to the various household. And then what happened? She came back to see that Putana was on the floor and Krishna was playing by her side, baby Krishna. This is what it is. He sucked the life blood out of her. So, he has done all these things. Before he teethed, he was killing asuras. Before teeth came, he was killing asuras. That is what. And so Arjuna says, oh Janardana, oh Madhusudana, all you are the one killer of the asuras. And you have done all kinds of things. For you it's nothing. You just suck the life blood out of them. You just look at them and they drop dead. And then this is not easy for me. This is your job. In other words, this is not my job. We are coming to some very interesting disputes about what is your job. When will we see that? Tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We are going to the